Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my kitchen. This is Sweet Meadow. Today I'm going to throw together a quick smoothie for my morning meal. I have a busy day, so I'm going to throw this together and I'm going to demonstrate how I do this. I hope you enjoy and find some useful information. And please read the descriptions. I'll put more information in the descriptions. And if you have any questions, you can DM me on Twitter, and I will be happy to answer any questions you might have. Okay, I'll get started. First, what I do is I use spinach as my base. And remarkably enough, these smoothies don't taste spinachy, but this is what I use as my base starting and my greens. Some people use a powdered green. I like to use as fresh as I can possibly find and organic, and so we'll get started. So what I do, I've washed my hands. Everything's been washed and cleaned. So I fill this up with spinach. I pack it in there. And I pack it down. So this is pretty much a big salad bowl, like the largest salad bowl of spinach. I don't have a lot of counter room, so I have to go back and forth. So you could see that I have packed this with spinach. Then what I do is I use baby carrots, and I put those in there. And then, what do I use next? I like to use apple pieces. So I'll cut up some apple pieces. I like the Gala apples, and I also like, I think they're a Honey Crisp apple. They work really well, and they're very tasty. So I get the container, or the container full. If you can see, I wish I had a better setup for you to see, but this is what I have to work with. So I think you'll get the basic idea. So I fill that up, and then what I do, a little nervous here, skipping a step. So what I do after I start with those ingredients, I add organic, fresh squeezed orange juice, and so I add liquid to that. And so you see now that I have liquid orange juice, I have spinach, I have carrots, and I have apple in that smoothie. Spinach is organic, carrots, baby carrots are organic, apple was organic, and the orange juice. Okay, so then I put the top on, and I use a NUTRi Bullet. I really like the NUTRi Bullet. And I did an unboxing of a newer one, but I need the, I want to have my husband change the legs out, so, okay. So I'm going to put that on tight. And I might on tight, and then we get that liquefied. Okay, and so you see that's been liquefied. Didn't take very long. So then I start adding my boosts, what they call boosts, and these boosts are considered superfoods, and they're high in antioxidants and nutrients. And so let me get a clear bowl so you could see how much of the boosts that I add, because if you add too much, sometimes you could create a bitter flavor instead of a sweet, pleasant flavor to your smoothie. So one of the boosts that I use is, let's see if I can, is pumpkin seeds. And I like to use sprouted, and I like to use organic. I'm not going to be able to show you the organic. That's just my preference. And the sprouted can be a little bitter, so what I do is I use a tablespoon. And so that's about a tablespoon of the sprouted pumpkin seeds, and I toss that in there. Then the next boost I use is hemp seed, raw shelled, USDA organic superfood. You could see it has protein, omega. There's a lot of nutrients from organic raw hemp seeds. And so I'll measure out. And I use no more than a teaspoon of the hemp seed, the raw hemp seed. So that's about what that looks like. And so we'll put that in there. And then I like to use bee pollen. I don't know if you could see, dried bee pollen granules. Raw. Again, I'll show you here. Nutrition in its purest form. There is a lot of health benefits to using dried bee pollen, but it can be very bitter, and it can make or break your smoothie. So a little bit goes a long way. So I use no more than a teaspoon of dried bee pollen. No more than a teaspoon. And so, and I have other boosts that I use, but for this smoothie I'm just going to use these because that's what I have available today. So that's the dried bee pollen, and that's what that looks like. And so I drop that in there in the smoothie. Okay. Then what I do is I use cilantro. Cilantro is also a superfood, and it has a lot of nutritional value. And so I put that in the smoothie. Then what I do is, I'm going to go ahead, since I already used the apple, I'm going to move the apple out of the way. Then what I do is I add wheatgrass snippets. So, let's see, don't want to cover that up. There's the wheatgrass. And so I snip some wheatgrass. And this looks like this. So here you have wheatgrass snippets, and I use about that much. And there's also a lot of nutritional value to wheatgrass. You can also give wheatgrass to pets. You could do some reading. All of these food items you can read online about the nutritional value of everything. Now, I usually blend at this point just for just a minute and get that mixed in. I got a little on my finger there, so I'm going to rinse, clean that up. Okay, so then I usually blend a little bit. Okay, it's not very long. Let it settle down. And then the smoothie looks like this so far. You've got your greens, you've got your fresh greens, you've got your boosts. So you're starting out with a very good base. And so then what I do is taking the lid on and off, you have to kind of wipe up when it dribbles, so bear with me. And remember, I'm not a professional kitchen. This isn't a professional kitchen. This is my home kitchen, and it's not very, I don't have a very large kitchen. So I'm working with the room that is available to me. Okay, so then after I get to this point with the smoothie, what I do is I start adding my frozen ingredients so I could thicken up and chill. You know, the smoothie will become like a milkshake. Of course, there's no milk in here. But to thicken it up, you can do a couple of things. You can add avocado, which avocado will make a creamy smoothie. This particular smoothie, I'm not going to use avocado today, but if you like a creamy smoothie, you can start adding avocados. Now, if you like a chilled, kind of like milkshake type smoothie, then this is what I do, and that's what I like. That's my favorite. And I'm only using the word milkshake as an example. There is no milk in this smoothie. Okay, but to get that consistency, you want to start using what you have frozen. And normally what I do is when my bananas get a little overripe, like this, what I do is I usually peel them, break them up into 2-inch pieces, put them in a baggie, and I put them in the freezer. And then I would take that baggie out and use the frozen banana, but I had forgotten to do that. So I'm just going to use a regular banana, which it's not frozen, but normally it would be frozen. So I just break off pieces and I put them in my smoothie. Okay. And then, so that would have been frozen. So then I add blueberries. Blueberries are also a superfood and high in nutrition. Very good for you, very good if you are recovering from, you know, any illnesses that you want to boost your nutritional. Let's see, and then the next one here is frozen cranberries. And so I enjoy frozen cranberries. I'm going to put half of these because I don't want my smoothie to be too bitter. I like my smoothies to be sweet. And fresh cranberries, to me, aren't bitter like dried cranberries. But until you find out how much of what you enjoy, I would suggest going slow on the stuff you're iffy about and use the stuff that you absolutely love more of. So then the next thing I'm going to use, because I didn't have the frozen bananas, and also I use a lot of strawberry and bananas when strawberries are in season. But right now, it's winter time, so I'm using organic mango and peaches. These are organic and frozen. A lot of times I freeze my own peaches, so I will have those in my freezer. So then now I start adding the frozen, and that's going to thicken up the smoothie. And so I got that all packed in there real good. Let's see, I'll move my arm out of the way. Find some place to set that down. Oops. Okay. And so we've got that all packed in there. And then we're going to put the lid on real tight. Make sure that anything that is spilled is wiped off, so when you go to lift it off there, it doesn't slip out of your hand. So always make sure that's screwed down tight. Always make sure you do that. That way it doesn't slip out of your hand. Okay, now we're going to do the final mixing, and then I will show you what we have, the final smoothie. Okay, here we go. Volume was probably going to get you a little bit. So here we are. We have the final smoothie, this is quite a bit. This is about enough for 2 people right here. But I can drink a whole one myself. This is also great for people who need to be on a liquefied diet. I will pour this in a smaller container so you can see how this looks like. or how this looks as I pour it. So you can see it has thickened up. It's chilled, it's cold, and it's yummy. So you can see as it pours the consistency. Okay, and so that's it. That is my first video with the smoothie. You just can drink out of the little mug that's provided for you, just like that. Or you could add a straw and enjoy. I appreciate you watching. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Good health. Bye-bye.